Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. Blood on the floor and a lie in his eyes. The elevator doors slid open with a ding, and Mia stepped into the dim hallway of St. Vincent's Hospital's trauma wing, her sneakers squeaking against the polished linoleum floor. She didn't expect the night shift to feel this heavy, but then again, no night at this hospital ever felt normal. Not since that one case 2 months ago, the one no one would talk about. But tonight was different, because tonight there was blood trailing across the floor, and it led straight to room 317. Mia froze. Her fingers tightened on the clipboard she hadn't looked at since 7 p.m. The crimson smears weren't just drips, they were streaks like someone had been dragged. She blinked hard. Her mind tried to rationalize it. Maybe it's an injured patient being moved. Maybe it's post-op, or maybe... A low groan echoed from the room ahead. Her nurse instincts kicked in, overriding fear. She rushed forward, pushing, opened the door. What she saw made her breath catch in her throat. A man, barefoot, blood-soaked and barely conscious, was slumped against the cabinet beneath the sink. His shirt was torn, soaked through with deep maroon. One arm clutched his side. The other trembled as he tried to push himself upright. "Sir, don't move." Mia dropped the clipboard and dropped to her knees beside him. "You're bleeding badly. I need you to stay still. Can you hear me?" His eyes met hers, and for a split second the air changed, not because of fear, but because something in his eyes didn't match the rest of him. He looked like he had no memory of how he got there, but something darker lingered behind his gaze. "Don't call the cops," he whispered hoarsely. His hand clamped around her wrist. "Please, not yet." "Not yet? What kind of person bleeds out in a hospital and begs not to involve the authorities?" Before Mia could ask anything, the man's body gave out, collapsing into her arms. 4 hours later, the trauma team worked fast. Whoever he was, he'd lost over 1 liter of blood. A deep gash on his abdomen, bruised ribs, and signs of dehydration. No ID, no wallet, no phone. But the strangest part? He'd been found inside the hospital, with no admission record and no explanation of how he got into the secure trauma floor. Mia hadn't left his side through the entire surgery. She didn't know why. It wasn't just because she was the one who found him. Something about him felt unfinished, like an unopened book in a library no one visited. She stood quietly outside, ICU 6, watching the man now lying unconscious under soft monitors, pale but stable. The attending doctor, Dr. Rowe, came up behind her. No name, no ID, and the cameras were wiped between 1:22 and 1:35 a.m. Mia turned, startled. "Wiped? As in deleted? Professionally?" Dr. Rowe looked grim. "This wasn't some drunk who wandered in and tripped. Someone didn't want us to know how he got here. But who would do that? And why this hospital?" Rowe studied her face, then lowered his voice. "You should go home, Mia. This one's gonna get complicated." But she didn't leave. The next day, he woke up around 3:14 p.m., alone. Mia had stepped away for barely 3 minutes to grab coffee, but the ICU alarm buzzed, and by the time she returned, the man was sitting upright, disoriented but strangely calm. "You were the one who helped me." His voice was hoarse, raw but steady. "Thank you," she nodded slowly. "You're lucky to be alive. If I'd come 10 minutes later, you didn't." He looked her dead in the eyes. "You came exactly when you were meant to." The air in the room shifted again. Mia swallowed. She'd seen her share of trauma patients, survivors, addicts, even fugitives, but never someone who spoke like that, like he was waiting for her. "Can you tell me your name?" He paused. His fingers curled around the blanket, knuckles white. "Aaron." A beat passed. "Aaron, something." "You don't remember your last name?" His eyes flicked away. A lie. "Not exactly." She didn't press. Not yet. That evening, after her shift ended, Mia did something she never did. She stayed. She sat in the staff lounge with her untouched sandwich, trying to shake the strange feeling Aaron left her with. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't confused. He was waiting, watching. When she returned to check on him after midnight, his vitals were stable. The nurse covering the night shift gave her a look. "You've been hovering over this guy like he's your brother or something." "He lost a lot of blood," she said simply, but she knew it wasn't that. 2 days later, Aaron was recovering faster than anyone expected. No infections. Vitals perfect. Appetite returning. Still, no visitors, no records, no fingerprints in the system. It was like he didn't exist. That night, Mia sat beside his bed again, curiosity burning through her professionalism. "You're hiding something." Aaron didn't deny it. "I know. I saved your life. You could at least tell me what you're running from." He looked at her, his eyes darker now. Sadder. "You're wrong, Mia." She froze. "I never told you my name." He smiled faintly. "You didn't." Her stomach twisted. "Who are you?" Aaron didn't answer directly. He just whispered, "You think I came here by accident." Flashback, 1 week earlier, a secret memory, unseen by Mia. A large black SUV pulled into a remote property on the outskirts of the city. A man in a dark coat got out and handed a folder to the driver. Inside, a photo of Mia in her nurse uniform. A background file. Orphaned at age 9, raised in foster care, worked her way through nursing school on scholarships and night jobs. Below that, target confirmed. Move quietly. No harm to her. Just extraction. Back in the present, Mia didn't know that someone had been following her for weeks. She didn't know Aaron wasn't the victim. He was the reason this whole game had started. And now he was in her hospital bed, acting like the helpless one. Cliffhanger. Mia's shift ended. She grabbed her coat, glancing one last time at Aaron through the glass window of ICU 6. His eyes were closed. But when she turned the corner, her phone buzzed. An unknown number. Text message. "He's not who you think he is. Walk away before it's too late." Mia's heart pounded. She turned back toward the room. Aaron was gone. Vanished from the bed, trapped in the Mia turned the corner and ran. Room 6 was empty. No monitors beeping, no security, no blood. No Aaron, just a faint impression on the hospital bed where he'd been minutes ago. How does a man with fresh stitches and no ID vanish from a secure ICU? Her hands trembled as she pushed open the bathroom door. Empty. She yanked open the closet. Empty. Her eyes landed on the small camera mounted in the ceiling corner. Still red, still blinking, still recording. She exhaled until her phone buzzed again. Unknown. "Don't bother checking the cameras. I already did." Her breath hitched. Another message followed. "He wasn't supposed to talk to you. Now it's not safe for either of you." Mia stepped back from the bed like it had turned radioactive. 1 hour later, hospital security office. "No footage?" she asked, stunned. The guard shrugged, clearly irritated. "Nothing between midnight and 1:08 a.m., just static. Someone hacked in again. Same signature as 2 days ago." Again. This wasn't random anymore. This was targeted. Mia knew hospitals got odd cases, stray patients, misidentified bodies. But this, someone wiped his presence clean. Twice. She stared at the black screen in the playback file. A man had vanished from ICU like he was never there. But she remembered his voice, his eyes, the strange way he'd said her name. "You think I came here by accident?" No, he hadn't. The next morning, Mia didn't sleep. She showed up to her shift with red eyes, 3 coffees deep, and a head full of questions. Dr. Rowe pulled her aside as soon as he saw her. "You look like you've seen a ghost." She hesitated. Then, "The John Doe in room 6 is gone." "Gone?" His brow furrowed. "You mean transferred?" "I mean, he disappeared, vanished. No one saw him leave. The cameras were wiped." Rowe paled. "Again?" He lowered his voice. "Mia, this is bigger than us. You need to let this go." "Why?" He didn't answer. That night, at home, her apartment felt smaller than usual. Every creak made her flinch. She closed her blinds, locked the windows, triple-checked the front door, but even after all that, she didn't feel safe. She thought about calling the police, but what would she say? A man with no identity bled out in my hospital and now he's gone. Also, someone hacked the security feed twice and keeps texting me threats. Yeah, that wouldn't fly. She sank into the couch, pulled up Google, typed Aaron Hospital missing blood trauma, no ID, security hacked, nothing. No results, not even a blip on local news. Then she typed his name into social media, just Aaron, and scrolled. She didn't know what she expected, a face match, a post, but then she saw it, a photo, blurry, posted 2 days ago. The caption read, "Anyone. Seen this man? Last spotted near Old Mill Street. Please help. He's not dangerous. He's my brother." And the username, Eva Harlow flashback. 6 days earlier, Aaron sat in a dark room, hooked up to a monitor. A woman with auburn hair paced in front of him. "You're not ready," she said. "If you show your face now, I don't have a choice." He snapped. She looked at him exasperated. "Do you understand what you're risking? If they find you, they already have." He leaned forward, breath ragged. "I saw her. She doesn't know yet, but she's part of this." Eva shook her head. "Then you're going to get her killed." Back in the present, Mia clicked the profile. The account had 2 posts, both of Aaron. She zoomed in on the second. Oh no, it was him, definitely him. Same dark eyes, same scar near his temple, and in the background was something familiar, the church across from her hospital. He had been watching it, watching her. She sent the profile a message. "I think I found your brother, but now he's missing again," and hit send. 30 minutes later. A reply came. "Where are you? Meet me. This can't happen over text." Mia hesitated. Her training screamed, "Don't do it." But her gut said go. She replied, "Coffee Hub on Mason Street, 9 p.m. Coffee Hub. The cafe was nearly empty. Rain beat against the windows. The smell of espresso and old wood hung in the air. Mia sat in the back corner, facing the door. Every time it opened, she tensed. Then Eva walked in, mid-30s, sharp features, worn leather jacket, a woman used to cleaning up messes. She sat without asking, looked Mia up and down. "You're the nurse. You're the sister." They didn't smile. Eva slid her phone across the table. It showed a photo of Aaron, clean-shaven, smiling, wearing a wedding band. He doesn't know who to trust anymore. "Including me." Mia narrowed her eyes. "Why?" Eva hesitated. "Because he's not just some lost guy with memory issues. He used to be a financial strategist for a billionaire network, cleaned dirty money for powerful men. One day, he vanished. No trace. People thought he died." Mia blinked. "But he's alive." "Barely." Eva leaned in. "He faked his death because he found out something he shouldn't have, and now they want him gone for real, and anyone who helps him." Mia swallowed hard. "You think they're watching me now?" Eva nodded grimly. "They already are." Meanwhile, unknown location, Aaron leaned against a concrete wall, stitches pulling with every breath. Across from him stood a man in a charcoal suit, face hidden in shadows. "You." Made contact with the girl. Aaron's jaw tightened. "She's not part of this." "She is now." The man clicked something on a remote. A screen lit up. Surveillance footage of Mia, walking to her car, sleeping on her couch, sitting in the cafe. "You should have stayed dead, Aaron." Cliffhanger. Mia left the cafe with Eva's warning ringing in her ears. "They're watching. If you care about him or yourself, disappear." But she couldn't. She had to know who Aaron really was, and why he chose her. She got into her car, started the engine, and froze. There was an envelope on her dashboard. White, unmarked, hands trembling. She opened it. Inside was a photo. Her, from 2 nights ago, sleeping, and written on the back, "You were always part of this." The photograph wasn't just a warning. Mia stared at the photo in her hand, her own sleeping face lit only by the streetlight outside her bedroom window, taken from outside her apartment. Through her blinds, she turned the picture over again. "You were always part of this." Her breath caught in her throat. "Not you're now part of this. You were always part of this," which meant someone had been watching her, long before she met Aaron. Later that night, Mia's apartment, she shut every curtain, jammed every window lock, taped a towel over the peephole, even unplugged the smart speaker in her living room. Still, it felt like eyes pressed in from the walls. Her phone buzzed again. "Eva, we need to talk again. Somewhere safe. You free tomorrow morning?" "Mia, not at my place. I think they've been watching me for days," Eva responded instantly. "They've been watching you for years." That sentence made Mia's knees buckle. The next morning, 7:30 a.m., secluded park, outside the city, the fog rolled through the trees like whispers. Mia waited by the stone bench Eva had described, heart thudding in her chest. The air was thick with dew and silence. Eva arrived in a dark hoodie, hands deep in her pockets. "You brought the photo?" Mia nodded and handed it over. Eva stared at it for a long moment, jaw clenched. "I was hoping it wasn't this deep yet." Mia folded her arms. "You keep talking like this is a game I'm already in, but I don't know any of these people. I've never seen Aaron before last week." Eva looked up. "Are you sure?" That landed like a punch. "What does that mean?" Eva took out a folded newspaper clipping, faded and brittle. She handed it over. It was a small-town article from 13 years ago. Headline, "Local family killed in fire, child missing, feared dead." There was a photo below it, a charred house, and 3 faces above it, a man, a woman, and a small girl. The girl had big hazel eyes just like Mia's. She stared at it, heart racing. "That's not me." But her voice cracked. Eva's reply was soft but steady. "Your name was Mila Harlow. You were 6 when the fire happened." Mia's hands shook. "No, my name is Mia Rivera. I grew up in foster care in Oregon. My file's clean." Shiva nodded slowly. "Because someone wiped it, just like they wiped Aaron's." Flashback 13 years ago. A black car parked outside a burning farmhouse. Inside the back seat, a little girl screamed for her parents. Smoke choked the windows. A man in a grey suit pulled the door open and yanked her out. "We don't have time." Another man nodded. "Take her. The boy's already gone." The car drove off, vanishing into the woods. Back in the present, Mia's apartment. That night, Mia dug through her fireproof box of childhood papers, her birth certificate, a foster care placement letter, a sealed photo from her caseworker labeled "Do Not Destroy." Hands trembling, she opened it. It was the same girl from the article, same eyes, same smile, same little necklace, which she still owned, tucked in a drawer. Everything she believed about her past shattered. Eva's voice echoed in her head. "You were always part of this." Elsewhere. Aaron's hideout. Aaron pressed a cold rag to his stitches. His breathing was shallow, but his mind was spinning. He'd made a mistake. He shouldn't have approached Mia. But the second he'd seen her in the hallway of that hospital, something clicked. Her face, her eyes, her necklace. He hadn't seen it since she was 6. She was the girl they thought had burned, the girl who wasn't supposed to survive. And now she was the only one who could expose everything. If she survived. Later that week, a break in it. It was midnight when Mia woke to a loud crash. She jumped up, grabbed the lamp beside her bed, but the noise wasn't coming from inside. It was downstairs, her neighbor's apartment. Sirens blared moments later. Mia peered out her window as police and paramedics swarmed the building. She ran into the hallway. Mrs. Daly, her sweet 80-year-old neighbor, had been attacked. Paramedics wheeled her out on a stretcher. Mia's heart sank when she saw the scrawl on Mrs. Daly's wall. Wrong apartment. Next time, we won't miss. The police interview. The officer wasn't gentle. Have you received any threats recently, miss? Rivera? She hesitated. Yes, but not from anyone I can prove exists. And you think whoever attacked this woman meant to hurt you? Mia nodded. The officer raised an eyebrow. Why? Her voice cracked. Because they left a message. For me. The officer stared at her a moment too long, then jotted something down. We'll file a report. He said it like it meant nothing. Like Mia would be dead before paperwork processed. The decision Eva paced Mia's living room like a caged animal. You need to leave. Tonight. Change your name again. Get on a bus. Disappear. But Mia shook her head. No more running. I want to know the truth. Eva stopped. Truth won't save you. It'll bury you. Then I'll dig out of it. Mia stood. But I'm not going anywhere until I talk to him again. Aaron. Eva sighed. You're asking for hell. Mia looked, her dead in the eye. Then take me there. Secret meeting. An abandoned church. The next night they met in silence. Eva drove her out of the city into a crumbling chapel hidden behind thick trees. Candles lit the sanctuary. And there, standing at the altar, was Aaron. He looked worse. Gaunt, haunted, but alive. Mia walked toward him slowly. You knew me when I was a kid. He nodded. You were my sister's daughter. Her heart stuttered. My mother's name? Elena. Tears welled up. That name lived only in her dreams. He looked at her, voice low. She died because of what I knew. They burned the house. Thinking I was there, but you were. She sat down hard on the pew. Aaron stepped closer. Your parents tried to protect you, but we were all targets. And now they know you're alive. Cliffhanger. Suddenly, a gunshot shattered the window. Glass exploded. Candles fell. Mia ducked behind a pew. Aaron yelled, tackling her to the ground. Outside, tires screeched. Footsteps pounded. Another shot cracked through the door. Eva pulled out a pistol, firing back. They found us. Aaron shoved something into Mia's hand. Key. Cold metal, no label. Find the box. Storage unit. Locker 17. King's Vault. More shots, smoke, panic. It's all in there. The truth. About you. About them. About what they did. And then he was yanked back by a masked figure who'd already breached the door. The vault knew her name before she did. Bang! The church doors blew inward with a force that knocked Mia flat. Splinters rained, candles shattered. A masked figure stepped through the thick smoke, rifle raised, just as Eva grabbed Mia by the collar and yanked her behind the altar. Aaron had disappeared into the haze, yelling something Mia couldn't. Make out! We've got to move! Eva hissed. She dragged Mia toward the back exit. A bullet sliced through the air, striking the stone wall just inches from Mia's head. She bit back a scream. Then silence. Outside the church, 11:45 p.m. They fled through the forest, boots slapping wet leaves, lungs burning. The deeper they ran, the more distant the gunshots became. When they finally collapsed in the shadow of an abandoned railway bridge, Eva held up a trembling hand. We lost them. For now. Mia clutched the cold key Aaron had given her. Locker 17, King's Vault. She glanced up at Eva. We need to go there. Now. Eva shook her head. You saw what they just did. That vault is probably under surveillance. Mia looked down at her, scraped knees, her bleeding palm, and the blood-streaked dirt on her shirt. Good. Let them watch me walk into their secrets. Next morning, King's Vault storage facility located on the industrial edge of town, the storage complex looked deserted. Most of the units were rusted shut. A sagging sign at the front gate read, King's Vault, private access only. Eva scoped the lot with a borrowed car from a friend. You sure about this? Mia nodded and stepped out with determination. She felt the weight of the key in her pocket like it was burning through her skin. The office was locked. A call box blinked red. Mia pressed the button. Yes? Came a gruff male voice. I need access to Unit 17. Pause. Then, Name? Mia hesitated. Mia Rivera, or Mila Harlow. Silence. Then a sharp click. Gate opening. Unit 17. The hallway inside was dim, fluorescent lights flickering overhead. The metal doors were numbered in peeling paint. When Mia slid the key into locker 17, it turned without resistance. The door creaked open. Inside was a dusty black box the size of a microwave. Nothing else, no folder, no files, no weapons, just this one mysterious box. Mia stared. "That's it?" Ava lifted it gently. It was heavier than it looked. "Let's not open it here." Safe house. 2 hours later, back at Eva's cousin's empty farmhouse, the two women laid the box on the table. Mia flicked the latch. It opened with a soft pop. Inside were 3 items. A worn leather journal with EH stamped on the cover. A flash drive taped to a folded document, and a photo, one that made Mia's breath hitch. It was a picture of her as a child. But this time, she wasn't in front of the burned-down farmhouse. She was sitting beside Aaron. Both were smiling. And behind them, standing with protective hands on their shoulders, her mother, Elena. The journal. Mia opened it. The handwriting was sharp, angry, rushed. "If you're reading this, I'm probably dead." But not before they tried to finish what they started 13 years ago. They called it the Rebirth Project, a secret medical program run by a private military contractor disguised as a biotech firm. We were developing regenerative treatments, real science, but the government wanted it turned into something darker. Controllable trauma responses, emotion control, soldier manipulation, neural rewiring. Mia's hand shook as she flipped the page. When we refused, they threatened our families, then started killing them off. Elena and I tried to run with Mia. We hid for 3 years. Then they found us. Eva leaned in. "Your parents weren't just victims. They were whistleblowers." Mia felt sick. "And Aaron?" Eva sighed. "He was one of them. Then he defected, took the data and ran." Mia opened the folded document. It was a birth certificate, her real one. It listed her as Mila Elena Harlow. Mother, Elena Hart. Father, Jacob Harlow. No mention of foster care, the flash drive. They plugged it into an old laptop Eva had scrubbed clean of connections. Hundreds of files loaded, memos, images, encrypted communications. One video caught Mia's. "I play video, Project Ephialtes, Subject 06, a dark room, a child strapped to a chair, electrodes on her head, a figure asks questions in a flat voice. Name?" The child doesn't answer. "Repeat, I feel nothing, I obey, I forget." The child shakes her head. Suddenly a bright flash. The screen glitches. The child screams. Mia recoiled in horror. Eva looked pale. This was a memory erasure protocol. It matches what I found during my own investigation. Mia covered her mouth. "Was that me?" Eva didn't answer, but Mia knew. Phone call from the past, suddenly. Mia's phone rang, unknown number. She answered on speaker, hand shaking. A distorted voice came through. "You've seen too much, Mila." Mia froze. "We warned you once." Eva grabbed the phone. "Who is this? What do you want?" "To finish what we started and retrieve our property." Click. The line went dead. "They came for her that night." Mia was brushing her teeth when the lights cut out. Eva ran into the bathroom, gun drawn. "They're here." Mia's blood ran cold. From the upstairs window she saw 2 black SUVs silently pull into the gravel driveway. Doors opened. 5 men in tactical black spilled out, moving in formation. Eva pushed her toward the back exit. "Go! Now!" They fled. Through the mudroom, just as a battering ram smashed the front door. Gunfire erupted behind them. They sprinted toward the woods, Mia clutching the journal to her chest. One shot grazed her arm. She screamed but kept running. Then a loud cry. Eva fell. Mia turned around. Eva was on the ground, leg bleeding, gun empty. "Go!" she shouted. "They need you more than me." Mia hesitated. Every instinct told her to run back, but Eva's eyes were fierce. "You stop now. We both die. Go!" Mia ran. The cliffhanger. Train station. Escape Mia made it to the nearby train station just before dawn. Bloodied, shaking, alone. She boarded the first train out. No ticket, no ID, just the box, the journal, and her birth certificate. As the train rolled forward, she opened the journal to the last page, scrawled in Aaron's fading ink. If they find her, it ends. If she finds herself, it begins. Her reflection in the train window wasn't just her own anymore. It was a survivor, a witness, and maybe the key to exposing the truth. She opened the final file, then everything collapsed. The train screeched to a halt. Mia jerked awake. The black box clutched to her chest like a child gripping a stuffed toy. She wasn't sure when she'd fallen asleep. Her hoodie was damp with blood and sweat. Her injured arm throbbed beneath the makeshift bandage. She'd made it out, barely, but her mind kept echoing the last thing Eva had shouted. If they find her, it ends. If she finds herself, it begins. Mia didn't know what was beginning, but the ending. She feared it was already in motion. Abandoned library, North Hill, 7:12 AMA. Contact of Eva's, a retired journalist named Mikhail, had sent her a single text. "Come to the old library. Room 8. Bring the box." It was still drizzling when Mia slipped through the back entrance of the derelict brick building. Inside, dust hung in the air like fog. She passed broken chairs, decaying shelves, and water-stained encyclopedias. She found Room 8 with a broken sign taped to the door. "History never dies." Inside sat a white-haired man with nicotine-stained fingers, a laptop open and blinking. He didn't look up. "You the girl Eva bled for?" he asked in a gravelly voice. Mia stepped inside, jaw clenched. "She said you'd help." "Depends. You bring the truth?" Mia set the black box down. Unpacking the past, Mikhail opened the journal first. He scanned the pages, his face draining of color. "I thought this project was vapor, a conspiracy. Jesus, it's all here." He plugged the flash drive into his laptop, encrypted folders. Dozens. "Mia, can you open them?" "Mikhail, I've cracked Pentagon files faster than I breathe." His fingers flew across the keys. Minutes passed. Then, ding. Folder decrypted. "Ephialtes complete." "Mikhail, oh my God." He scrolled through files, photographs of experiments, names of contractors, fake medical records, and then a list of test subjects. Subject 01, deceased. Subject 02, unstable. Subject 06, memory erased. Subject 06, Mila Elena Harlow. Mia stared at the screen. "They did this to me." Mikhail nodded solemnly. "They used kids from dissident families, targeted whistleblowers, anyone who wouldn't play nice." "Mia, why erase my memory?" "Mikhail, because you survived, and you knew too much." A dangerous message. Mikhail turned the laptop to face her. "We leak this. We break the dam. Mia, let's do it." She didn't hesitate. But before Mikhail could upload the files to the press, his laptop blinked red. "What the hell?" The screen went black. A voice came through the speaker, deep and electronic. "You've been warned, Mila. Return what belongs to us, or everyone you touch dies next." Mikhail ripped the battery out. "They're inside my system." Mia stared at the black screen, heart hammering. She grabbed the journal, the photo, and the flash drive. "We need another way." The plan, Mikhail, thinking fast, said, "There's one last copy vault of this kind of information. Cold Cell Archive, beneath Fort Rexton." Mia blinked. "That's a military base." "Not anymore, abandoned, but they kept a server back up there. I tried to access it years ago, but was stopped. If you can get in." "Mia, then I can find the last piece." She took a deep breath. She didn't feel like a nurse anymore. She felt like someone born in a lie, crawling toward truth through fire. "I'm going." Fort Rexton, 11:38 p.m. The base was a ghost town, its concrete walls cracked by time and overgrowth. But Mia slipped, in through a broken fence, climbed through a collapsed drainage shaft, and made her way to the underground levels Eva had marked on an old blueprint. Her shoulder burned with every step. A single emergency light flickered in the basement corridor. The air was damp, smelled of mold and metal. At the end of the hall was a reinforced steel door. On it, Ephialtes, Archive Core, and beneath that, her name. Authorized M. Harlow. Her hand trembled as she touched the panel. Beep! Access granted. The door slid open. The Archive Core. The room looked untouched. Since the day it was shut down, rows of server towers blinked dim blue. In the center, a lone terminal glowed faintly. Mia stepped toward it. Suddenly, a gun cocked behind her. "You're not supposed to be here." She turned slowly. A man in a dark suit, cold blue eyes. She recognized him. He'd been at the church. "Ambush, who are you?" she asked, voice shaking. "Call me Agent Ward." He lowered the weapon slightly. "You don't understand what you're playing with. You experimented on children. We saved them from themselves. You tortured my parents, killed them." He stepped forward. They were traitors to their own country. Mia's rage boiled over. They were scientists. They believed in healing, not control. And you're a failed experiment. A ghost we let walk too long. He raised the gun. Aaron returns. Bang! Ward stumbled. A second shot echoed through the chamber. Aaron stepped from the shadows, smoking pistol in hand. Not today. Ward dropped to his knees, coughing blood. Mia stared. "Aaron, how did you find me? You lit up every tracker they still had. You were never off their radar. But you had to find this place." Mia's head spun. "You knew this existed. I helped build it." He walked past her, typing something into the terminal. "You want the truth, Mia? Then help me expose it. But once it's out, there's no going back." She stepped forward. "Do it." Upload initiated. 92%. Aaron inserted the drive. Mia handed him the journal. "Once this hits the public net," he said, "they'll burn everything. And come for us." "Then let them," Mia whispered. "Let them try." Suddenly, the lights cut out. Emergency alarms flared. A robotic voice echoed, "Breach detected." "Incoming hostile," Aaron swore. "They found us." He ripped the drive out. "Upload's not done, but it's enough to bury them." "Mia, we need to run." The fire escape. They burst into the night as explosions rocked the base behind them. Choppers. Word in the distance. Mia looked at Aaron. "What happens now?" He didn't answer right away. Then, "Now we show the world what they did. And we survive." She glanced down at the drive in her hand. It wasn't just data. It was proof. It was memory. It was her past, and maybe her future. She faced the world, and finally knew who she was. The world knew. In less than 12 hours, encrypted files from the Ephialtes project were leaked across the globe. News anchors stammered through broadcasts. Heads of military divisions vanished from public view. Human rights organizations issued urgent statements. But for Mia Harlow, the real war was just beginning. She had exposed them, but at what cost? A cabin in the pines. 3 days later, snow whispered through the pines like secrets too tired to scream. Mia stared out the cabin window, the flash drive resting on the table behind her. Aaron was in the corner, bandaging his shoulder where a bullet had grazed him during their escape. Mia hadn't spoken much since then. She watched the trees, quiet as frost, until Aaron finally broke the silence. "They've labeled you a terrorist." Mia didn't turn around. "Let them. I know what I am now." He stood, walked to the table. "Do you?" She faced him, eyes no longer lost. "I'm the daughter of 2 people who believed truth mattered more than comfort. And the world tried to erase that." Aaron nodded. Then he pulled something from his coat pocket and set it in front of her. A silver locket. Mia opened it slowly. Inside, a photo of her as a baby in her mother's arms. Her father was beside them, younger, smiling. The same photo from the journal, but this was the original, on the back. For Mila, you were born to heal. Tears threatened to fall, but Mia held them back. They can smear me, hunt me, lie about me, but they can't change this. She tapped the locket. I survived them. Back in the city. 1 week later, Mia knew hiding forever wasn't an option. Aaron had suggested they disappear for good, live under new names, start fresh. But Mia refused. I didn't risk everything to vanish, she told him. So she walked into the city again. Head high, hood down, a storm of headlines followed her name. Some claimed she'd fabricated it all. Others begged for interviews. Conspiracy groups idolized her. But Mia ignored the noise. She had a meeting. The whistleblower hearing, classified briefing room. 3 senators, 2 human rights attorneys, and 1 very pale federal agent sat behind a long oak table. Mia stood alone across from them. Senator Knox cleared his throat. Ms. Harlow, or should we say Subject 06? Mia didn't flinch. I prefer Nurse Harlow. Some chuckled. One didn't. Knox continued, the information you leaked caused global outrage, but also national panic. It's left us exposed. Mia stepped closer. You weren't exposed. You were revealed. A woman beside Knox leaned forward. We read every document, the recordings, the genetic tagging, the memory wipes. It's unthinkable. Mia locked eyes with the room, then maybe start thinking differently. Aftermath. The fallout within weeks. Several high-level officials resigned or were arrested. 3 covert labs linked to Ephialtes were raided and shut down. The president made a public statement calling it a shameful legacy of unauthorized, rogue science. But behind the scenes, things stayed murky. Powerful people had deep pockets and long memories. Some wanted her dead, others wanted her protected. Mia didn't care. She wasn't going back into the shadows. She began giving talks. Anonymously, helping victims of secret government programs come forward. She used her nursing skills to work quietly in underfunded clinics across border towns. Wherever people were forgotten, Mia showed up, not to save the world, but to remind it that no life is too small to matter. Eva's letter one rainy evening. Aaron brought her an envelope from an old safe house. Inside was a single page, Eva's handwriting. Mila, if you're reading this, then you've done what I couldn't. You chose truth over fear. That means you've already won. The world will try to define you, let them try. But remember who you are. Not a file, not a subject, a healer, a survivor. A light in a broken place, and if someday you need to disappear again, just know you've already been seen. With love, Eva Mia folded the letter carefully. This time, she let herself cry, not out of sorrow, but release. Final scene. The hospital. That started it all 6 months later. Mia walked into the same hospital where she'd once been just a nurse. It had been rebuilt after the fire. The staff changed. The director was gone. But one familiar face greeted her in the hallway. Mrs. Novak, the elderly woman who used to call her Sunshine. Mia? The old woman asked, eyes widening. I thought you'd disappeared. Mia smiled, bending to hug her gently. I did, but I found my way back. Mrs. Novak clutched her hand. You always had a light in you. Don't let them steal it. Mia didn't reply. She didn't need to. Closing lines outside, dusk painted the sky with streaks of orange and violet. Mia stood by the exit doors, the cold wind brushing against her face. Aaron leaned against a car nearby, nodding once when he saw her. She took one last look at the building behind her, where a stranger with a bullet wound had once changed her life. Then she stepped into the night, head high, eyes forward. The world still had shadows, but now so did she, and this time she wasn't running from them, she was walking through them with purpose. The end.